Part 16 of When a Broken Angel Was Forced to Marry a Merciless Mafia. Author point of view. 15 minutes passed that were like ages to you. You were yelling at them to stop, but your voice was overcome by taehyung's screams that stopped a few minutes ago. They opened the door and left. You stumbled on your way to the room. Two men were wrapping up the things before leaving. Your heart was crushed when you saw bandages around his wrists and ankles. He must have put all his efforts to get free. While sobbing, you climbed over the bed near him. His eyes were still closed and he looked weak. Sean, Taehyung, your hand was shaking when you touched his face and traced his chapped lips. Few minutes passed and he opened his eyes and blinked several times. Taehyung, you okay? Look at me. After hours you saw him with his eyes open and you were dying to hear that he is fine. He lazily moved his gaze towards you and you felt that empty. Pulling his hand from yours, he was leaving the bed. He growled in pain while holding his head with his both hands. You held him when he stumbled. Tough, wait. He was trying to get a better view. Chan, please sit down. Hearing your voice, he stared at you and removed your hands. Da, wait a minute. I will come back. You followed him when he stumbled towards the bathroom door. Getting inside he shut the door. After 5 minutes he came and his face and hairs were wet. Going near him, you hold on to his shirt. Shan, Taehyung, let's go to hospital. You should. Da, I am fine. His heavy voice spread peace inside you and tears slid down your cheeks. You shake your head when his hands went to your Jan. You fainted. But they did. Your throat was hurting as tears were pinching badly. With your waist, he lifted you up, and while your hands were on his shoulder, Da, don't cry. You wiped your tears. Jan, please go to hospital. For a few seconds, he stared in your wet blue oceans. Da, first let's go to our room. He entered inside the room and placed you on the bed. Closing the door, he came and sat beside you. Sean, there were tubes at your head. Those machines, they keep you. You were screaming. Ta, calm down. Relax. I am fine now. Sean, you are not understanding. Ta, Sean, listen. He held your hands. Ta, I know I need to explain this. I am sorry for never telling you this ever before. I thought I am fine now that you came in my life. I sometimes faint due to anxiety attack, but I am getting treated. Shan, you call this treatment? You stood from your place. Shan, that was inhuman. How could you let them to do this with you? I know he is doing this to make me forget my father, but I will never. But in all this process, I fell in this disorder that now I need him. Shan, what are you saying? That this is the only way. You shake your head. I need to rest. I cannot even see properly. He lay down and pulled over the bed. You had a lot to tell him, but you came out of the room as he really needed rest. A servant came with an envelope. Ma'am, someone dropped this for sir. Chan, give it to me. Taehyung's name was written over it. You thought of leaving it in the room, but then opened it. Lines appeared on your forehead. It had the same picture that you saw in his office and a letter too. I will come back soon to take what's mine. Chan, what? Did Taehyung also receive that? You looked back at the room's door and then at that typed letter. Chan, was this the reason that he fainted? What's wrong with Oppa and Dad? Why are they doing this to us? Remembering how Taehyung was scared and anger built up inside you. Sean, why can't these people leave us alone? You went inside the room and he was sound asleep. Then you left the room and then the house. You were determined to confront your brother and father, as now you were scared for Taehyung's health. From all sides, he was receiving such threats that sank your heart for how he suffered. Grasping that letter and picture in one hand, you entered inside. Shan, Opa, you yelled furiously, but when you go in any further, the view widened your eyes. There were extra vehicles and guards outside the house, but you didn't pay much attention. Against every wall of the lounge, guards were standing. They looked more lethal. Your father was bent on his knees, and a young man dressed all black was standing behind him. Jan, father. Sean, through your peripheral view, you saw someone close the door from where you entered. Your heart dropped when you saw Jin on the floor. He was unconscious. Sean, Opa, you ran to him. There was all over him. You pulled him up, attaching his head with yourself. Patting his face, you were begging him to wake up. Peter, my daughter. New voice fell in your ears, and you looked up to find two grey eyes staring into yours. He crouched down to your level, and you tightly hold on Jin, as if his presence can save you. Peter, Jan, this is me, your dad, your biological father. Your heart hammered against your chest as your blank mind processed his words. Eric, she looks exactly like mom. Another voice that sent you shivers. Peter, hey, come here. Sean, this is Eric, your brother. The name sounded familiar. You gulped when your eyes saw the letters were sent by them. They were threatening Taehyung. Sean, no, don't touch me. You screamed when Eric held your arm. Sean, you are no one to me. Only Jin is my brother. I don't know you people, and I don't want to. Peter, we will tell you everything. Come. You jerked off his hand too. Hiding Jin's face in your arms, you were slightly shivering, as your mind was still in shock to believe all this. Sean, no. Eric gestured the man who was holding Jin's father. Hearing him yelling, your head turns toward him, and so left your body when you witnessed that. You screamed, cried, but they didn't stop, and you froze when they pulled Jin from your hold, and Eric snatched you up. The person whom you called dad always gave you pain, but Jin, you love him with all your heart. Sean, no, don't hurt him. I beg you, please. Eric, sure, if you come with us. You looked at Jin, who was dragged away by two men. Peter, we will not hurt him. That was too much to handle. Make you dizzy, and soon you blacked out in Eric's arms. Peter, let's go. Eric picked you up. Eric, what about Taehyung? I want revenge. He, all guards, I want to return him back every mark he gave me. Peter looked at your innocent face. Peter, fine. To be continued. I know this was short, but have a little patience. I am trying to wind this up. Thanks for watching and love you all.